I'm going to attempt to survive the next 300 days in Elden Ring to defeat the final boss and become the Elden Lord. And if I couldn't defeat the Golden Order within the given days, all of my old videos will be deleted forever. But before that, we're almost at 500 subscribers, so if you could even consider subscribing, it means a ton. So after defeating Morgoth, the Omen King, now I could travel to the capital outskirts in search of the mysterious flames to burn the thorns. While crossing the bridge towards the Forbidden Land, I was suddenly hypnotized by these two failed twins. I'm not sure what was their purpose for existence. I mean, they were chubby, stupid, lazy bums who were just there to waste my time. I literally dropped one of the twins in front of the other, but the other twin just stood there and watching. Like, what is going on? But soon I was able to send the twins back to their mother's womb. Anyways, after getting Morgoth's great runes from the divine tower of the East Altars, I went to the Grand Left-Off Road to ascend into the Forbidden Lands. Lo and behold, it was snowing. This was my first time seeing snow in this world, and it was chilling. The first enemy I encountered in this frozen land was the sassy melodic performer who was blowing ice from her mouth. She was moving with such elegance and her attacks were so graceful. Every swing had a purpose and every spin had a melodic tune to it. And I didn't realize how dangerous she was because I was blinded by her performance. It pained me to depart from her, but I had to move on. As I was moving from Zamir ruins to the mountaintop of the giants, I saw the fire monks guarding the bridge. But this time, instead of the daddy monk, they had their fire babushki helping them. The babushki had this long web that she would pull out every time I would get close. Hey, I'm not calling names or anything, but she was the one whooping my cheeks. Anyways, after dealing with Fire Babushki, I realized how incredibly the bridge was laid out. It was made up of these beautifully crafted stones put together in a line to make way for the visitors to the land of the giants. And guess who was there to welcome me in the land of the giants? A giant frozen golem. So I had to pay my respect. As I traveled further in the land of the giants, I realized this was actually the land of the golems because there were dead golems in every corner of the snowy mountain. And there were two things that stood out to me the most. First, the elevation of this map was twice as high as other places in the game. And second, architectures were huge. And the bridges in this land was as big as the castles in other parts of the map. Moving on, as I was fighting these giant skeletons in the graveyard, I finally encountered the first boss fight in the land of the giants. Behold, the death-right bird with his dark flame. He seemed weak and malnourished at first until he handed my cheeks back to me. So anyways, this dark flame bird was average at best in design, size and power, but he had something that made him stand out among the rest, and that was his dark flame. He could control his dark flames at will, which was a very unique characteristic, and that's why he was able to do close and long distance attacks. Giving his agile body and flying ability, he was the perfect recipe to annoy a player. But soon I was able to ship him to the North Pole as a Thanksgiving turkey. Anyways, traveling through the frozen land, I came across the Flame Peak, which was the land of the frozen trolls. Literally 1 in every 2 trolls were frozen in the land, but I was able to find a few living trolls. I really liked the design of these creatures. They had their basic shape, but with white fur to complement the cold environment. As I kept climbing the Flame Peak, I finally came face to face with a fire giant, a giant ginger human with another face for belly. He was also carrying a food tray as a weapon. I didn't realize how Brobdingnagian this giant was until I reached its foot. His entire foot was twice as big as my body. His attacks were devastating because of his sheer size, but at the same time I was able to move through his legs because of how small I was compared to his body. It was all fun and games until he started stepping on me and would roll his entire body to crush me. And if I got away, he would throw snow at me using his food tray, or even worse, he would throw fireballs that would explode on impact. But of course, slamming the food tray on my head was never fun. I could only reach his foot, so I targeted his ankles until it dislocated. But he just snapped his leg off for some reason, and suddenly the face on his belly woke up, and now it was the battle of the flames. But because of his leg being snapped off, his movements were severely impacted, and I took that chance to finally melt him to the ground. From there, I made my way to the Forge of the Giants, and Melina came to me while I was resting at the side of grace. She told me that this world was in a dire need of repair, and that if I was ready to commit a cardinal sin. I mean, I just wanted to become the Elden Lord, but you know what? Let's do it. Hold on a sec. She used me to get to the Forge of the Giants, and using the flame of the forge, she burned down the entire Mother Erdtree. Wait, I thought we were only burning down the tones, not the entire Mother Erdtree. What in the Holy Mother of Flames is going on here? And suddenly, I was teleported to the crumbling Forum Azula, or as I call it, the Windy Castle. This was the most stupendous place ever. Broken pieces of castle levitating in the sky in the midst of these tornadoes, and all the dragons flying around in chaos. As I went inside the castle, I realized that I had to climb down this broken architecture to get to the main boss. There wasn't much activity in this part of the map except for finding my way. Even the creatures were nothing to be excited about. But I like the design of the map though, because there was more than one way of getting down this castle, and it was really fun. And soon I came across this ancient dragon, stone body with golden wings and red electrical thunder lighting. The battle was exciting, but there was nothing new because I had faced similar creature in the underworld before. And to my disappointment, this wasn't even a big boss, but rather just another dragon. And finally, I was able to get to the big boss. And lo and behold, the beast clergyman. Oh, this is the guy I met back in Caelid before fighting General Radon. He seemed like a sensei from a Japanese anime with a lot of wisdom in his movements. He was trying to be humble with his dressing, but his actions proved otherwise. He was honestly the most dynamic boss I had came across. I could tell from his movements that he was a very experienced fighter. He was holding a kunai knife as a weapon, and during the battle, he finally had enough of me and broke his philosopher's stone and released its power and pulled out the black blade and finally revealed his actual identity. Behold, Maliketh the Black Blade. He had the most badass looking armor with black suit, golden stripes and white wavy hair. He transformed into something entirely different in regards to his movements and fighting style. No longer was he humble during the battle, but rather all out with his black blade and red flames. These red flames are something to be desired. Let's just say I was burning the entire fight, and his black blade was not kind neither to me nor my body. Not once did he take a breath during the battle, and he really despised me. But soon I was able to put an end to his tyranny. After the battle, I saw the Mother Erdtree ignited in flames, burning for everyone to witness. And boom, I was teleported to the Lindell Ashen capital. The entire castle was drowned in the ashes of the Erdtree, and it was devastating. I just wanted to become the Elden Lord, but at what cost? Anyways, I climbed my way to the capital tower, and I was greeted by Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing, and he didn't want me to become the Elden Lord on behalf of Queen Marika. Though his looks were deceiving, but not his knowledge of the magic. He was well informed with every kind of magic that was in this world, from the crystal arrows to the black flames and the circle desks and much more. But his magic was nothing compared to my raw strength, and I was able to put him down for good. And his final words were that a tarnished cannot become a lord, a man cannot kill a god. Wow, that was deep. And finally, I made my way to the entrance of the burning Mother Erdtree, and oh my, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, was saying his goodbyes to Morgoth. He actually returned to defend his title to a mere human, but I was excited to finally battle him in his actual form. Godfrey was much more forgiving, or at least for now, compared to the Black Blade, but that doesn't mean he wasn't brutal or not worthy of the title of Elden Lord. Mind you, he was fighting me with his raw strength, heavy axe and nothing more. No magic, no gimmick whatsoever, and that was commendable. But he had a companion called Serosh, and during the fight, he ripped it off his body to release the weight, and now he was fighting with full strength. Okay, so now he wasn't forgiving. He was fighting me with full strength by tackling me and wrestling me to the ground, and his impacts were devastating to say the least. I have never been slapped this hard by anyone. His movements were animalistic, and now he was acting more like Serosh, jumping, snatching, and using his claws to tear the atoms from my body. But soon I was able to defeat Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, fair and square, and he finally acknowledged my strength before departing away. And finally, I made my way to the inside of the Mother Erdtree, where the tones were burning in red flames. Lo and behold, the Queen Marika was Jesus in the mid-air. But suddenly, half of the ring broke, and Radon of the Golden Order rose to the battlefield. The Golden Order had half of his body disintegrated and hollow in the middle, where I could see the great runes powering his body. He was carrying his golden hammer to punish anyone who would dare to challenge him, and he dropped me me quicker than I could blink. This golden order was manipulating lightning thunder at will to break me from the core. He was so calm yet so devastated. I died many times in order to figure out what was the deal with this guy. Even with my trusty knight Invale, we couldn't even make him twitch. But I remembered the words of Sir Gideon that a man cannot defeat a god. So I had to do it not because I could, but because it was necessary. And finally I was able to drop the golden order to his knees. But suddenly the Elden beast came out of its body and devoured it. Lo and behold, the Titanosaurus looking flappy universe. And the battle just carried on as if nothing happened. But I was on the verge of collapse. We were in water with endless mother erdtree surrounding us in succession. The beast could shoot fire out of its mouth and had this long golden blade to complement its outwardly structure. The beast was very magical to say the least and was moving with such grace in the battlefield that I couldn't help but admire it. The beast was cataclysmic with his attack. Every attack would shake my atoms to the core. And during the battle, the beast started to fly using his flappy wings, and I knew I was in trouble. It created a ring of light in the sky and replicated on the ground just to tear me into pieces. Bruh, it just grabbed me with his hands and Jesus me in the air while piercing my body with lightning rods. What in the holy mother of cross is this punishment? Every attack was different from before. This was the most unpredictable battle, as if he knew my moves beforehand. It took a while for me to get a grasp of what's happening, but soon I, the tarnished, a man, was able to defeat the Elden beast. And to my disappointment, the knight Invale had the final strike on the beast. What? Come on, man! Okay, by this point my brain was fried. Like, what just happened? So after the battle, Rani the queen appeared and started blabbering something about chill nights and the reaching age of the moon or something. But I didn't get any of it, and the game just ended with me holding the witch's hand. Anyways, soldiers of Godfrey, if you want me to make more Elden Ring videos, make sure to subscribe. And farewell, tarnishes.